guys, welcome out to the shop today. It is snowing outside right now. It's not even really snowing, it's mainly icing, and it's very cold in the shop here, so there's no chances for glue ups on any kind of projects. So I figured today would be a good day to do a shop project that's been sitting around for about 2 weeks now. Well, ever since Christmas time, or just a little bit after. Recently, I got a new vise into the shop and it needs to be installed on my workbench. This year I want to do 2 major projects. One, build a new workbench and also build a new tool chest. And with my current bench, I want to go ahead and install this vise. And I've gotten a 1-inch dowel. This vise is a Yost 10-inch vise. This is a 1-inch dowel, and then I went to the local lumber yard and picked up a big chunk. I can't even get the chunk of walnut right now, but I picked up a big chunk of walnut that is 2 inches thick. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with this project. So the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and get this base plate separated, and we're gonna have to take the cotter pin out of this end as well. Let me get that cotter pin out and then we'll get this completely off. So I'm going to be wanting to put my vise right here all the way up against this leg, and when I do that I need to make sure that I don't have any kind of glue splatter or anything underneath here from like wiping off fingers. And I'm probably going to want to set it back about a 1/4 inch or so from the edge because, well, I don't know. It looks flush if I put it right on the edge, and then it'll keep it square. But then I have these lag bolts, and I'm gonna put 2 lag bolts right here and get them bolted down this way. I've only got 2 for right now, so I'll end up having to come back and add 3 additional ones later. So I'm gonna put 1 right here and 1 right here for right now, and then I'll end up putting 1 right here, here, and here for the support underneath. You can't put 1 right here or right here because that's where the rod runs and you don't want to scrub on that rod. So I'm gonna make a mark right here where this one is going to go. And then we're gonna go ahead and get this one right here mounted up first. Alright, so we got the 2 lag bolts in on opposite corners, and I had to verify and make sure that I wasn't going to drill into any of my dog holes up there, and I just used the impact driver right here with a 1/2 inch socket and just drilled them up. So those are nice and tight. And then what I have is this big old chunk of lumber, and I'm going to probably put it somewhere right in here. As you can see, I'm just kind of guesstimating where somewhere I want it. Something like, I don't want it centered up. I think that's going to be too big. So maybe something like this. And when I do it, I want to go ahead and have the top of this just slightly higher than the actual bench. Help if I had the clamp already stretched out. So I'm just using my body pressure right now to kind of keep it slightly above, and then using a clamp to hold this in place. And we're gonna make sure everything on the top is a little bit higher. Have no low spots. So now what I'll do on the other side is I'll take a pencil and actually trace the mount that's in here and find out exactly where my holes are that I need to have drilled on there, and then I'll take this off and drill it out on the drill press. So I went ahead and installed the front portion of this, and now I'm going to go ahead and put it down here, get the threads started, and we'll start screwing this back together. I'm going to see how everything looks right here. Alright, so that's exactly what I was hoping for, is that what it would look like. I got a little bit of lip on the top right here, which is fine. This is what I wanted. So we'll take our 1-inch dowel, we'll put it in here real quick, and just make sure that everything's nice and tight. So we got the 3 screws installed. I also had to tighten up these 2 nuts right here. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is taking this all the way in and then getting this flush with the top of my workbench, which shouldn't take much to it. I'll just use a big plane. So that's the reason why we wanted to leave it a little bit higher than the bench, so we could plane it down nice and flush with the bench. So I'm gonna get a hand plane, and then we're gonna get this nice and flat. All right, so I pulled out my number 7. We're just gonna go over it. Alright, so you guys, I can't wait to just try this out. So I'm going to go ahead and throw just this piece of pine in here and see how it does. We got our little stick right here. Tighten that up. And we'll go ahead and just try to take off a few shavings. I'm gonna tell you, this really beats just these 2 passes. I used to have it held on with clamps. The way that I used to do it would be with these clamps. I actually have to hook the board, so none of this inside would actually be pushed up against the bench. So when I used to have the other clamps on here, it would get caught in my pockets or get caught in my coat pocket or something. And when you were planing, you couldn't just go right through. You have to like kind of work your way around it to plane it. But this right here, I can put this on and just scoot right up right next to the board and just follow through. And I can already tell a big difference, and it's nice and solid. All right, guys, so what I got going on right now is I'm trying to make the handle. And I had this big chunk of walnut, and I split it up into 2 different little pieces. It's been a really long time since I've turned anything, so I'm just going to try to do a little bit of turning on this to see if I can get everything to work out right. One thing I'm going to do first, though, is drill 2 1-inch holes in the bottom of this pretty deep. And that way I can slide it over the end of this and glue it into place and stuff. And that'll be that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this drilled out, and then we'll get the lathe pulled out and see what happens with the turning. Alright guys, so I don't think I'm going to do the wood turning. I like the 2 blocks, cut up this piece of wood, and I'm just going to put them in there and be happy with it. Right, just like that. Make sure they're even. I'm just playing. 1 inch fit perfect in here. So that is what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the lathe, because I want to make sure it all looks even. Now that I've gotten them on, I can go ahead and get them kind of turned down. Before I put them in there though, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the new vise, and we're gonna see if this will actually work. I'm gonna go with it like this and get a number 4 out. And we're just gonna go and make an octagon pretty much. And this is all gonna be pressure fit. And then I think at the end, what I'm gonna end up doing is putting another pin through here. That way if I ever wanna remove it, I can. So let's go ahead and get the lathe over here, get this chucked up, and see what happens. Well guys, I think I jinxed myself about just saying that it's just gonna be like a basic pressure fit setup, because now my lathe won't even turn on. So I'm gonna work on this a little bit and try to see what the deal is. But yeah, I may just have it pressure fit for right now. Alright, so I flattened all of these sides for the most part, but there's some bigger chunks on there. One thing that that I am going to end up having to do is the handle is probably going to be a little bit offset, because I can't put a drill or like a drill bit on this side to drill out that 1-inch hole, so I had to do it beforehand so I could get it somewhat kind of centered up. So it may be a little bit off at first, but hopefully it won't look too bad once it's on the handle. And maybe later down the road I'll look at some way to fix that situation so that we don't run into it again. But I'm going to go ahead and just get this turned down into a circle, and then pretty much just make a little bit of a shape, and then make it so we can put it on the handle. Alright guys, so I already have one handle that I completed. Just wanted to taper it down and then just make it like a smooth handle that you could actually grab and like torque onto. So I went ahead and measured it, and now I've gotten this end right here to where it's the proper thickness. So I'll just run this straight down to about right here, and then I'll end up flip it around after I get this little round top. So just gonna keep on working at it a little bit, get all this pretty much flat, and then round off the top, and then move on to the inside. Alright guys, so I already have one handle that I completed. Just wanted to taper it down and then just make it like a smooth handle that you could actually grab and like torque onto. So I went ahead and measured it, and now I've gotten this end right here to where it's the proper thickness. So I'll just run this straight down to about right here, and then I'll end up flip it around after I get this little round top. So just gonna keep on working at it a little bit, get all this pretty much flat, and then round off the top, and then move on to the inside. So that's pretty much almost what it's supposed to be like. It looks like I need to round this over a little bit more, but for the most part, it looks about the same. So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it over, get this part round, and then shape it exactly how the other handle was. All right, guys, so there it is. It's close. It's not perfect, but it is close. I'm happy with it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and sand it up and then get this handle put on. All right, so the other handle came fresh off the lathe. And we're just gonna slide this in here and then push these together. And that's it. That's my handle. And if I need to, I can always go back and like glue the ends on. All right, guys, the front vise is completely done. I mean, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Handle is good, everything fit well, and I'm ready to start using it on the next project. I don't know what that'll be, but I am happy with how everything turned out. And you can buy these handles online for like 15, 20 bucks, I think. But what's the fun of that when you have the tools to actually make it yourself? And so also you can see this one is offset a little bit because of the pre-drilling the hole before. This one actually turned out fairly well with how it is. But that is that. Still thinking about putting the dog holes up here. I'm gonna leave this extra tidbit over here for right now. I can always come back and trim it up if I want to, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. You can check this out on Amazon. They sell them for like 60 bucks, I think. And it's gonna be well worth it, I believe, in the long run. So thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys on the next video.